Hey everybody, it's IRATE Prostate here, and welcome to another wonderful edition of Chaos 120. I just want to introduce everybody before we get going with the deal. In the house tonight, we do have Scooby.
Hey, hey.
What's up? We heard our lovely TerraSynn. Say your hey again, darling.
Bah.
Okay. Six,
How you doing?
groovy. And last but not least, our brother, the Mountain Man.
Hey everyone, how are y'all?
All right.
And of course, Burnside will be joining us later.
All right, cool. And so, what we usually do is we open the show with the intro shills. Ladies first, we'll go with TerraSynn.
You can find me on YouTube, IMVU, and Twitter, and also at my Etsy shop, which is called Terra and Roxy. That's TerraAndRoxy craft. All one word. And buy my shit so I can go to more and hang out with these guys.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, Scooby.
I'm Scooby331. You guys know the deal. You can find me on YouTube, Minds, Gab AI, Patreon, and Twitter is not Scooby331. I'm going to be filming St. Patty's Day Parade. I'm going to go hunting SJWs. That'll be not this Saturday, next Saturday. And the Saturday after is the March for Safe Spaces that they're going to have on the 24th. My congressman is hosting one of them apparently, so I'm going to go torment that poor man. So you'll see those up on my channel, and I'm going to be uploading a few videos within the next coming days. So just keep your eyes peeled.
All right, cool. All right, Six.
In the next 6 minutes, you can find me on the Next 6 Minutes channel. You must spell out the word 6 if you want to find it. If you don't, you'll never find it. I'm also the Next Live Streams channel. You can check me out and the rest of the guys out tomorrow on my Next Live Streams channel. Same awesome place. Same awesome, well, not same place, more like same awesome times. We can jump around anyway. Like the castle and scroll that disappeared and reappeared at dawn and dusk.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yep. And Mountain Man. What is that noise?
I have no clue. That's not me.
Tara's
That's me.
invading. She's
I'm
invading.
getting ready to go pick up my friend Kyrell.
Uh,
I finally found the fucking car keys.
Ah.
So, I am the Vetram Mountainman. You can catch me at gab.ai, Twitter, Minds, YouTube, and BitChute. And I've got some new videos coming up each and every day, except for Fridays and Sundays.
Well, groovy Maruvi.
very cool.
We're about to hear ignition.
Yeah.
Engage.
All right, and it's IRATE Prostate here, and tomorrow I'll be working with Big Fat Brian. We're going to cover Netflix's Altered Carbon. It's a great series if you're into sci-fi, very Blade Runner-esque. It's film noir, like Blade Runner, so there's a lot of nods to that. Fascinating and a very, very well done series. And of course, Friday we've got the Cream Stream. This week's guest will be Red Pill Shark and Miles Beats, along with a couple other people. And Sunday, I don't know. Saturday night, of course, is Saturday afternoon, drinks with friends with our brother, Sir Adamantine. And then Saturday evening, hanging out with Weebo, of course. And without any further ado, let's kick it off, I guess, with the NHL.
All right, let me get that queued up. Last night was a bit of a disappointment because the Stars lost, but you know, there will be other games. Let's see. I think who's play? I think Chicago is playing tonight. So no, Chicago's not playing tonight. Let's see. We have a Pittsburgh is up on Philadelphia 4-2 just after the second period. We have a game between the Arizona Coyotes and Vancouver Canucks at 10 p.m. Eastern, so they should be starting like right about now. Let's see. And the Calgary Flames have defeated the Buffalo Sabres 5-1. That was the NHL break, brought to you by the next 6 minutes.
Well, thank you, Six. All right. So, as we got any news or anything from Colleen Bernier? Any?
Oh, we always have news from Colleen Bernier.
I muted Tara for a wee bit because of the noise thing. It's like we're getting some complaints in the
yeah,
in
she's
the chat. So
she's playing Grand Theft Auto, but in real life.
Exactly. So I'll go ahead and take her back off of mute. So,
okay.
Tara, you with us?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. All
Time
right.
for some news, which is chaotic.
Nice.
Okay, here's rather interesting behavior. I don't know if you guys have actually heard about this happening, but it appears as though McDonald's is flipping its iconic arches upside down in what they deem as an unprecedented statement. Okay, let's see why they are doing this. Okay. People driving by McDonald's in Linwood, California might be baffled by an upside-down sign. The golden arches, typically standing as an M, have been flipped over to become a W. But this isn't a bizarre prank or a careless mistake. The upside-down arches are in celebration of women everywhere. A McDonald's representative told Business Insider in an email. Patricia Williams, the location's franchisee, flipped her restaurant sign in honor of International Women's Day on Thursday. McDonald's said it will turn its logo upside down on all its digital channels, such as Twitter and Instagram, on Thursday, while 100 restaurants will have special packaging, crew shirts, and hats to bag stuffers to celebrate. Okay, in celebration of women everywhere and for the first time in our brand history, we flipped our iconic arches for International Women's Day in honor of the extraordinary accomplishments of women everywhere, and especially in our restaurants. McDonald's Global Chief Diversity Officer Wendy Lewis said in a statement, just for 1 second, I just want to make this comment. Why do fast food restaurants need diversity officers? Seriously?
No shit.
They make burgers and fries and pour sugary drinks. You don't need a diversity officer. You just need to make good fries.
Yeah, I think
Fuck's sake.
I think the turnover.
Fries and good soul.
Well, I think that because of the nature of the actual entry level work, you're going to get diversity anyway.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's just.
Lewis continued, from restaurant crew and management to our C-suite of senior leadership, women play valuable roles at all levels, and together with our independent franchise owners, we're committed to their success. Several brands, including Old Navy and Barbie, have debuted products in honor of International Women's Day. Meanwhile, some companies such as Brewdog, which rolled out what it has said was a satirical beer for girls called Pink IPA, have been criticized for using the day to advertise to women in what some consider a reductive manner. Well, so I think the most important thing, does it actually taste good?
There's just no pleasing some fascists.
I tell
Nope.
you.
Well, the more you give in to them, the more.
Yeah.
The more you give in to them, what? The more what?
The more they want.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, I reiterate the thing that I had on my Twitter. I'll read it again. It's certainly something that has become more and more true as we roll along in this strange little existence we have here in the West. And let's see, it goes as such. Let me find it. Yes, never try to appease an authoritarian. Complete obedience will never be enough. They will always want more control. Nothing will be good enough. even if you surrender all that you have and all that you are.
Mm-hmm.
So the moral of the story is never apologize, never acquiesce, and never give in. Never give an inch.
Never give up. Never surrender.
That's right.
By Grapthar's hammer shall be avenged.
You know, my thing is, what are they going to be doing for National Men's Day?
They won't
Probably
do
burn him
anything.
at the stake because patriarchy. Okay,
You know-
let's see. We're good.
No, I was
the next
just,
story.
yeah, I was just going to say, I'm thinking about it. I think I told you, if you go to Suffolk Community College out at the Brentwood campus, that's the college that Trump visited last spring. There is not one man on staff in this office. I went into any of the offices to get enrolled in, and I know the one guy that they actually have hired there. He's the prettiest guy in my neighborhood. He was a young kid. He used to try to sneak in all the time. I used to card him at the door when I was working the bar.
Yeah.
And it's literally, it's all of these friggin' feminists, and then there's one pretty guy that they have working there. It's literally like he's their diversity hire.
He's their token male.
Candy.
He's their Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the eye candy.
Yeah, he's a himbo. That's exactly what they hired him for.
The himbo.
What the fuck is a himbo?
The
Male bimbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like her, him, himbo.
Yeah. You see, the definition of a bimbo is she's not a loose woman. It's just everyone wants to nail her because there's just something about her. And it's the same thing with this guy. I could tell you should have seen. He walks into the financial aid office. All of these little friggin' mutants, these SJW broads, they all they all hem and haw over him. Meanwhile, I know this kid. He plays for the other team. But I'm not telling them that.
Of course he does.
Oh yeah. Well, David Spade said, you know, there's no way any man that good looking could possibly be straight.
Oh man. Speaking of rather interesting cultures, Coca-Cola to launch its first alcoholic drink in Japan.
Nice.
Whoa. Really?
Yep. One of the world's most famous soft drink companies is diving into another area with plans to launch its first alcoholic drink. Coca-Cola is creating a low-alcohol canned drink to be launched in Japan. The teenagers, and the young people and the hipsters, everybody I hate is going to want to. All the fucking Bartles and James and Smirnoff Ice and Zima assholes are gonna. Oh, son of a bitch! This is gonna be like hard lemonade all over fucking again. Son of a bitch!
It's gonna be the new Zima, man. It's gonna be the new Zima.
Jeez, I actually like Zima, guys. I miss it.
It's not bad tasting. It's just the people that you generally find gravitating toward it are some of the biggest douche nozzles. At least that's what it was like in my neck of the woods. I don't know if all the cool people gravitated towards Zima up in your area, but it's all the douche nozzles.
I grew up in a Navy neighborhood, a very heavy military neighborhood in general, but it was a lot of Navy. And this is a neighborhood where the summertime called for 2 beers. Now, depending, if you were one of those guys who was an asshole who had a power boat, you know, who liked to go flying across the bay at a couple of knots, you had a Corona. But if you came from a Navy family and you were a fisherman, you had Red Stripe.
There you go.
I love ice cold Red Stripe. I haven't drank beer in years, and
that's a badass. That's a good choice.
Oh yeah, you know when it's like encrusted with ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will, and I don't drink beer normally, but maybe this 4th of July, because of all the shit that's been going on, I think maybe I'll have myself a 22 Red Stripe, just for the fuck of it. Just for the country. Do it for America. You know, one of those sorts of deals.
Yeah.
Patriotism.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's see. Coca-Cola is creating a low alcohol canned drink to be launched in Japan, where an alco pop drink called Chu-Hee is thriving. Chu-Hee is made by mixing carbonated water
Sorry
with
about that.
Japanese liquor shochu and adding flavoring like kiwi, lime, or lemon. This article is making my skin crawl. George Garduno, president of Coca-Cola Japan, said the company is trying to push the boundary in new ways. We haven't experimented in the low alcohol category before, but it's an example of how we continue to explore opportunities outside our core areas, Garduno said. As for bringing the concept to the United States or other places around the world, Garduno said it's not likely, at least not yet. This is a modest experiment for a specific slice of our market. The Chu-Hee category is found almost exclusively in Japan. It makes sense to give this a try in our market, Garduno said. While many markets are becoming more like Japan, I think the culture here is still very unique and special. So many products like that are born here will stay here.
Because it's an island full of weirdos.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, is it really any weirder than the cola beer mixery that I used to see in Germany?
I don't know. I guess I'm too Americanized. Every country, if you lay it out long enough, any country strikes me as odd outside the U.S. I'm just a good old American boy.
I will admit, everybody are odd everywhere, even here in America.
Speaking of odd, we have a Florida man story.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I dread these.
I love these.
This one comes to us from Jacksonville. Thank you, Colleen Bernier, for scouting this one out here. Machete-wielding man jailed for hindering Jacksonville fire crews.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Yes.
What was he on?
We will find out. Jacksonville, Florida. A machete-wielding homeless man was arrested Sunday night after he interfered with firefighters battling a blaze on Jacksonville's west side, authorities said. Crews were corralling the flames engulfing a vacant drive-in theater near Blanding Boulevard in West Connet about 8 p.m. when the man started causing a scene, according to a police report. A firefighter notified an officer working traffic duty nearby of the disturbance, saying the man was distracting crews from their work, though he did not threaten any of them, the report said. The 50-year-old Jeremiah DiMaggio was seated on the ground when the officer arrived. He appeared intoxicated and resisted multiple commands to leave the scene, according to the report. Let's see. DiMaggio was booked on charges of hindering firefighters, disorderly intoxication, and resisting an officer without violence, according to jail records. He remains in jail in lieu of a $26,000 bail. Now, where's the machete part? Because there seems to be contradicting. This is very poorly written. Seems to be very contradicting. Let's see. The man was distracting, though he did not threaten any of them. Well, if you have a machete and you're wielding it, that's considered threatening.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Though when we get to the rest of this, you see this language that he did not threaten any of them, and then when the officer arrived, appeared intoxicated. He did resist multiple commands. Does not say whether he resisted wielding the machete, but apparently not, because if he was, the bail would be much more than $26,000.
Yeah, but a homeless man, does he really have anything? I mean, we're talking.
Say again? You completely cut out there, Vetram Mountain. Or did I completely cut out?
No.
Mountain, you with us?
We can hear you. There's the Mountain Man.
Yeah, he was about to explain something. He just completely disappeared. Which I hope my allergies would, but they're persistent.
You tried Claritin yet?
Claritin doesn't really work for me.
What about Zeotech?
It works okay. If I have to take it for prolonged amounts of time, then it starts to not work as effectively. Benadryl is probably the one that is most consistent. Yet, I find that it also stops losing its effectiveness over time.
You try Sudafed?
I have not tried Sudafed, I don't think.
I know a lot of people, if after they try Benadryl, because Benadryl, if I take Benadryl, I get like dopey off of it. I'm and I pass out after like an hour or two. So I usually take either Claritin or Zeotech myself. But a lot of people I know, if Benadryl, Claritin, or Zeotech don't work for them, they usually will take what the hell was the one I said? Sudafed. Maybe
is it a drowsy one?
I believe they got a non-drowsy.
I'll try the non-drowsy. Non-drowsy does not typically work.
Yeah, I usually say fuck it. I don't usually take anything. I suffer because I'd rather have the allergies than get doped up and sleep all day. You know.
Yeah, I'm like that most of the time. But let's see. Okay, Mountain Man, you're gonna have to get into one of the little areas so we can yank you in.
We'll yank you in. Yeah, get in voice chat, general voice, or call in.
Let's see. So you reading us there, veteran? Well, we need you to get into one of the general voice chat or the call-in areas and in Prostate's Discord, so we can yank you back in.
Yeah, I need to give him some. That's what it was. All right, he should be able to get in himself now.
Yeah. All right, we have another Florida man story.
Nice.
Oh dear.
Terry, you have my condolences.
This
Yeah,
one
I've
comes.
been making plans to move the fuck out of this state for a while.
And I'm making plans to move there, ironically.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, I think I heard.
There he is.
There we go. Sorry.
There we
bro.
go. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Welcome back.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is that homeless guy was probably drinking Sterno. Does he really have $26,000?
I would say no. I say he's for the long haul.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Which is probably a lot of homeless people do that. Is they get arrested so they can spend a little time in jail, get fed up and clothed and housed and so on and so forth.
Well, I told you what the deal is out here, right? They usually they'll take like a piece of asphalt out of the sidewalk and they'll break a window. Usually they'll do that after Halloween. That way they're inside in time for Thanksgiving because they get a full dinner on Thanksgiving. And then they get to serve and they're released usually by March, April.
That's actually a little clever. Probably more clever than this guy. This comes to us from Gainesville. Good old Gainesville. Note to drivers. Got drugs in car? Don't honk at cops. Okay. Rants James Shannon blared his horn at cops and emergency vehicles and was found with multiple guns and drugs in his car.
Well, he gave it away.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just picturing this guy with a coke mustache leaning on the fucking horn, cocking the 9mm. Get out of my way!
Oh, that's horrible.
So when he gets out of the car, he's just this little tiny tiny shrimp of a guy. He's sitting on this giant brick of pot. Oh my god.
Oh, that's great.
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh. A man was arrested Wednesday morning with an assortment of drugs and guns in his car after he called attention to himself with an impatient horn honk, according to Gainesville police. Rance James Shannon
great. Gainesville, lovely.
stopped his car behind a patrol and fire rescue vehicles who were working a traffic accident at 2:35 a.m. 2:35 a.m. Just laying on your horn. 1700 West University Avenue near University of Florida, student housing. Shannon blared his horn after an officer approached Shannon and could smell the strong scent of marijuana. Hey, if you're going to call attention to yourself to the police, make sure you reek of marijuana.
That's right.
Shannon appeared impaired and was yelling and slurring. Law enforcement had Shannon exit the vehicle because he tried to drive away. Officers found
move your fucking cars, you piece of shit. I gotta be somewhere now.
I gotta get to that dorm and sell my pot.
Oh man, this dude is like, he's a great customer and he's been waiting on me for 3 hours. And I really am. I gotta get him. I gotta sell. I gotta make it sell.
Yeah, if you can't live up to customer service, then you shouldn't be in business.
Indeed.
Oh my gosh!
Dude.
Officers found a loaded 9mm magazine, about $10,400, and a 4-inch knife on Shannon in his waistband. Wow, that's a lot.
Where was the gun?
A loaded pistol was in the passenger seat.
Oh.
A collapsible baton and pepper spray were on the driver's side door panel.
Oh, man.
On the floorboard, police found an AR-15, 5 quart-sized mason jars full of 263.8 grams of marijuana, a jar of hash resin, 94.5 grams of cocaine, 11.6 grams of amphetamine powder, 16.5 Xanax pills, and an oxycodone pill.
Oh.
A tote bag with 71.7 grams of marijuana, a fruity cannabis edible bar and cannabis gummy edibles was in the back seat. Police found...
I'm gonna myself for a little bit.
Yeah. Police found 4 handguns, an AK-47, ammunition, a stun gun, a baseball bat, bolt cutters, and gloves in the trunk. Shannon told police that if cannabis were in the car, it should weigh around 113 grams. Let's see. He also told police he was a nice guy because he could have used a weapon against police, but didn't. Police.
Oh yes, because I have a car ready to commit multiple felonies, and I'm a nice guy.
Altruist. Holy shit.
I have seen pharmacies less well stocked.
Yeah. Police said he told them he thought he could have weapons as a convicted felon after 3 years.
Oh God!
I thought that was a law officer. 3 years. Been a good boy.
He also told police he felt he had to honk his horn to get law enforcement's attention. Well, yes, that's what you do to get law enforcement's attention. But given what you have in your car, that may not be the best idea. Holy shit. Shannon was charged with carrying a concealed weapon while unlicensed, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, and possession of synthetic narcotics and other drugs and cocaine trafficking. He was held in the, I always butcher this, Alachua County Jail.
I know exactly where that jail is. I've been in there.
The man was arrested Wednesday morning with an assortment of drugs and guns in his car after he called attention to himself with an impatient son of a bitch, horn honk, according to Gainesville police.
Yeah,
Oh,
it just got 10 bucks from Cryptic. Thank you. He says poo.
Thanks, Cryptic.
He's awesome. You keep getting the. It's now I'm able to see the messages and stuff. I'm still tweaking this stuff, but I really like this.
So the moral of the story is, hey, you know, if you're driving around a pharmacy and an arsenal, and
don't honk at the cop.
Yeah. Because their sort of attention may not be the kind of attention that you would like for yourself.
Well, yeah. Well, man, when I had my band back a shit long time ago, man, I had this drummer, and I drove this at this point I was driving a powder blue Bug. I mean, old school Bug, not what they call bugs now, but and every time we would like get next to or he'd be around a police officer, he would make sure that guy'd see him flip him off. I mean, just, you know, I really just stick a bird and flip it right at him. And I said, dude, you know, you're going to regret doing that one day, man. And if you get me in jail, I'm going to kill you. And sure as shit, and the night I dropped him off like 2 blocks from his house, he was walking home, right? And he flips the cop off that passes him, and you know, he calls me the next day from jail. I feel like I've told this story before. Anyway,
I never heard it.
Well, you know, I was telling it earlier because I kept telling him, man, you're going to get it, and sure as shit, man, he got it, and you know, I was just glad I wasn't with him. You know, he was a great guy, though. You know, another drummer, just like Spinal Tap, man. It's like they don't last long.
No, they don't.
They really don't, man. I mean, it had nothing to do with drugs. Either one of the 2 drummers that I had shit, Matt was a drummer too, wasn't he? So that's 3 drummers, man, that I've known that played with that have passed away now.
My condolences.
Yeah, it is what it is. This is a real incestuous music scene where I am, so we all played together. You know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Music scene up by me is a lot. Well, it's New York. You know how our music scene is.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Tight and intense, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I feel I should cheer you up a bit there. Your painful trip down memory lane there, IRATE.
Sure.
Not to be outdone by humans, Florida otter.
Oh no!
Awesome.
Okay. It was supposed to be a peaceful morning on the river, but Marcia Wilkie said it turned into quite the opposite when an otter attacked members of her kayak group. Was planning to spend Sunday morning leading a group of about 9 people through a familiar stretch of the Braden River near Linger Lodge. A former forester and master naturalist, Wilkie said she also received training through the American Canoe Association as the trip leader. She encouraged those in her Sunday group to travel upstream ahead of her so that she could see the wildlife. I told him to keep an eye out for otters, Wilkie said, noting that she saw some a couple of weeks ago on another trip. But their trip was interrupted when she said an otter attacked one of the kayakers. Sue Spector, who spoke with Fox 13, says she needed stitches as a result of the attack. It was very pristine and very nice, and I heard someone make a comment that, oh, there's an otter. Spector told Fox 13, and then all of a sudden he jumped on the kayak, and then 2 seconds later he jumped on me. A Florida Fish and Wild Conservation Commission spokeswoman confirmed that the agency
just wanted some love.
I think he was defending his turf. You come around here, I say. We get local.
It's like, what, is he gonna? Yeah, I was gonna say, did he take her to a movie after that, or?
Oh my gosh.
Truth is they were probably too close to the nesting area.
Probably.
I got you. I got you. Let's see.
Thanks, Mountain Man.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. The agency is investigating reports of kayakers injured by a river otter on the Braden River in Manatee County over the weekend, and officials are looking for the otter. Be on the lookout for this otter.
Oh, man.
This may have been a gang-related attack. The first report was received Saturday by FWC, saying 2 people were injured after they were bitten by a river otter kayaking, according to the statement from FWC Public Information Coordinator Melody Kilborn. On Sunday, FWC received 2 more reports of kayakers who were attacked and bitten by a river otter about 2 miles from the previous day's attack. That's what I'm saying. He's protecting his turf.
That's one vicious otter.
Yeah. Blood in, blood
I
out.
was just saying, you oughter not be there.
Nice. Oh man.
Yes, he's the same one from the Otter Day. The initial report said the otter was chasing boats and acting aggressively. Some even reported seeing the otter come into contact with an alligator. It was not known if the otter survived the interaction with the alligator. Kilborn said.
It's that roid rage, man.
He was attacking everybody. About 30 minutes and roughly a mile into the Sunday morning paddle, Wilkie heard a whistle blow 5 times. I couldn't hear the scream, but I heard the whistle, Wilkie said. I quickly paddled to join the lead group where I saw 2 women splashing their paddles in the water. That's when Wilkie noticed the otter and 2 people were out of their kayaks standing in the 4 feet deep water. One of them, a woman in her 70s, according to Wilkie, was bleeding. With wounds on her hands, nose, and part of her earlobe dangling. Ooh, damn, took a chunk at her.
Damn.
Talk about vicious.
Dude, that's some rapist-ass otter there, man. It's like...
That
geez.
must be the otter from Zootopia. Oh, man.
At least it wasn't a porpoise.
Taking them night howlers. The otter, she said, had attacked.
Otter you up.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
The otter, she said, had attacked the woman as well as scratched the arm of a second woman, but went to the hospital to be treated. Both went to the hospital to be treated for possible rabies, according to Wilkie. I took my paddle and I tried to get him off me, and he wouldn't let go, and I kept screaming and I kept beating him with the paddle. Spectre told Fox 13. When you're in the middle of it, you don't have a lot of thought except you hope you survive. I survived the otter. Oh my
Otter
gosh.
Wars 2018.
Just when you thought it was safe to get into the kayak. Oh my gosh.
It's otter.
Hey, at least it wasn't the nutria.
Oh man. Spectre went to the emergency room where she was treated for rabies and put on antibiotics. Wilkie said she heard about the other attack and said the otter her group encountered a Sunday chased some of their kayaks as they turned back towards Lingard Lodge. She said she has encountered many otters many times before, but never like this. Never like this. I've probably been 6 places on 6 rivers with otters before, and you talk to anybody, they're elusive, they're shy, and they're a little curious. They don't like to be close to humans, so this is extremely unusual for behavior for otters, Wilkie said. Since January 1st, 2017, there have been no other reports received by the FWC of river otters biting or scratching people in Manatee County. But rare attacks have been documented in previous years, according to Kilborn. River otters are typically not a threat to people, she said. No river otters have tested positive for rabies, but there is a concern that the otters can carry a potentially deadly disease, according to Florida Department FWC officials will work with the Florida Department of Health and Manatee County to inform the public and biologists plan to place flyers at 2 boat ramps along the river to notify visitors of the aggressive otter. Report otter gang-related activity. After the surprise encounter, Wilkie and her group were able to get everyone back in their kayaks, turn around, and paddle about a mile back to Linger Lodge. The experience won't keep Wilkie off the river, but she did have some advice for those looking to go out paddling. My advice would be to, of course, respect nature and understand even in a peaceful setting, it could turn on you. So always have an escape route and understand what to do with your kayak. Learn some self-rescue. Anyone who sees any unusual behavior, such as a river otter approaching pets or acting aggressively, or to report the sighting, should contact the FWC at 888-404-3922. Anyone bitten or scratched by a wild animal should immediately seek medical assistance.
That's 888-404-3922.
And I need to take care of something here.
He's so classy.
He is.
I always say I gotta go take a shit. You know?
Well, I was hoping Six would cover this. I actually found a news article out of India.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man chops off son's hand over porn addiction.
Uh-oh.
That'll do it.
That's not
Muhammad. That's in India.
I was going to say.
This is from the Hindi Times. So Muhammad Kuar Quashish, 45, surrendered himself to the police, stating he had chopped off the right hand between the wrist and the elbow of his son, Muhammad Khalid Quashish, 18. Apparently, Quashish, who works at a cable station, had been watching too much pornography for his father's liking. He's been booked under Section 307 of the India Penal Code for attempt to murder and was taken into custody. His son was rushed to the hospital. According to police, Qayyim has 4 children, including 2 sons. Khalid is the elder of the 2. Recently, Khalid had bought a smartphone and gotten addicted to watching movies and pornography. Despite repeated warnings, his son did not stop watching porno films.
He just switched hands. Yeah.
Qayyim caught his son red-handed watching a porno film, tried to snatch the mobile phone from his son, but later resisted. He resisted his father and immediately left home. On Monday, when he came back, he quarreled with his father, and that's when the attack happened.
Dang, man. So that wasn't like that wasn't handed down from a Sharia court or anything then?
Nope, the father did it all himself. Doctors say that the hand was 90% severed, and the chances of restoring it are bleak.
Nasty.
Oh, poor bastard.
Oh, I bet that hurt like a motherfucker. Oh, it just, you know, man, everybody, man, come on, you know, and I bet the dad is like, you know, every once in a while sneaking one, you know, here and there. I mean,
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, come on, we're human, we're built for it, you know. If it didn't feel good, no, we are. If it didn't feel good, we would not do it. You know, as different as men and women are, you know.
Personally, I think the father might not have done anything like that, which is probably why he was mentally capable of doing that to the son. Because, look, if you ain't baiting your dick, you probably got something wrong with you.
Yeah, something is going to build up, too. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I take it from somebody who grew up Catholic. Part of the reasons that Catholics have so much crime in their community is because of how uptight they are. The same with these Muslims. I'm serious. The Muslims, the Catholics, part of the reasons they have the violence is because they're overtly conservative. You know,
they're super repressed.
Yes. That's why I have a problem. You know, it's part of the reason I have a problem when people, you know, like, it means it's different. It's a different meaning here in New York than it is in the rest of the country, like conservative, because to me, conservative means very uptight. And very reserved. And I'm trying to get to grips with the modern meaning of the term a little bit more.
Right.
Because I think us here on this island, here at Manhattan and us too, but we seem to all be of the mindset, you know, like my father used to say, he was liberal because he didn't think you had to wear a tie to a ball game. Now, that was back then. Obviously, that's not the same meaning of conservative anymore. But, you know, a lot of us around here still equate being conservative with being very uptight and being very closed-minded. So that's one of the reasons I never identified that way. But, wow, that's overboard. That poor guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oof. But there you go.
Well, and I figured we could use a break from the Florida man story, so that's an India man story.
Yeah, yeah. Makes you pine for Florida, man.
It does.
Indeed.
And I am back.
Hey, Six.
Welcome back, sir. Welcome back.
If you're not beating your meat, there's something wrong with you. 2018.
No, seriously. If I say this as somebody who grew up around Catholics, and a lot of my family, they don't do that, and I can tell because you can see the psychological problems they come to the surface.
Right.
You know?
Yep, I was raised Catholic. My mom's side are like Catholic. My dad's side are like Baptist, right? And I remember when I was a kid, and you know, I found my thing, and found it was fun to play with. You know, I was kind of worried about it, you know, so I asked my dad, you know, it's like, you know, he's like, he goes, look, son, if you're not doing it 7 times a day, there's something wrong with you. You know, I thought something was wrong with me, man. You know, you know, so. And that's the Catholic repression thing, you know. I was terrified to ask questions. I sure as hell wasn't going to ask like a priest or anything, so I asked my own pop, you know. So I definitely wouldn't ask mom, for God's sakes.
I was actually taught to be terrified of women when I was younger by my mother. She taught me to be terrified of women. My sisters all taught me to be terrified of women. I'd bring a girl home. They'd be like, "So you're the slut that's looking to fuck my brother?"
Oh,
I was the baby brother, you see. So,
oh man.
Yeah, 5 older sisters. So, yeah, I had it rough as a kid. I had it really, really rough, and yeah, I can honestly see how that would be. I can honestly see that in a Muslim household. I can honestly see him cutting his son's arm off over him watching porno constantly. That's some really, you got to understand these people. It's a cultural thing with them. You know, I mean, I've known Italians and I've known Sicilians who have, you know, like harmed their children over honor. It's some sick shit. It's some old world shit. It's faith. It all comes down to a matter of faith. They honestly believe that these kids are offending God, and that they have to do this to appease God, to keep God from heaping more tragedy on them and the kid. It's some twisted shit.
Yep.
You know, it all comes down to religious interpretation, and that's what that is. He interpreted it as, now I believe in this, in like this. God can strike you down. God is more than capable of it. That's why, you know, he says, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Because in other words, he'll handle his own shit. You don't got to do it for him. His father shouldn't have done this to this kid. If God wanted to strike this kid down, the kid would have woke up with syphilis.
True.
Yeah.
But it comes from a culture where if a cloudy day happened to coincide with like a river bursting its banks or something like that, then they would consider all cloudy days to be bad luck and therefore cut their arms off and shit. I don't know.
Well, and
my analogy went weird ways.
And, you know, Scooby, I found it great that you were able to guess their religion pretty quickly based off the names of the individuals. I had somebody try to tell me there was no way to know that these guys were Muslim.
Muhammad.
Well, yeah. Well, you said it was India, and I know that most of them emigrated to North India and redesignated it Pakistan. I think that was what 48 when they did that.
That was 48. Yeah.
Yeah. But I know there's still a small minority of Muslims that didn't want to leave to go to Pakistan, still left in India. That's why when I heard the name Muhammad, I'm like, yep, okay, that I can see where this is going, because I know so many Indians, and I used to date a couple of Indian girls. And yeah, Hindus tend to be they're not violent. Well, I mean, if you fuck with them, yeah, they're gonna go. You know, they'll beat the hell out of you. Really, if you really provoke them and like are threatening their life, they'll defend themselves. But they tend to be really peaceful people. So when I heard the cutting off of the hand, I'm like, I really don't think he's a Hindu.
Yeah.
He was a Hindu. I'm sorry. It was a pun I could not resist, man.
Or
It
a
was a great
potato head enthusiast.
No doubt. Yeah, I
You
met.
offend, I would pluck off your arm.
Yeah, I met a guy in the today named Chris Cobb. He's in the chat, and we were watching this thing. There's a YouTuber named oh God, it's something pirate. What was it?
Butt pirate?
What? No.
I said butt pirate?
Not butt pirate.
Was it Keck Pirate?
No. It's God. Now I can't remember it. But oh Lord, it's going to bother me now. But he had uncovered all this horrible shit about these pedophiles that basically are all over YouTube and Twitter, and they're getting away with it. And of course, he got busted doing it, and his Twitter was taken away forever. And it turned out that one of the people that works for Twitter is Leo Pirate. That's it, man. Leo Pirate, LEO. And yeah, they took his Twitter away. And one of the people that works for Chris Hansen is that person at Twitter that has the power over whether they can do that or not. And it's kind of sick and twisted, and I recommend looking at just a shout out because of Chris, the deal with the Leo Pirate. It'll enrage you and make you want to break shit.
No, I've heard about him. He was going after Heart's Progress for a while, right?
Yeah, that they were part of it. And it was this one dude. I can't remember who the dude was, but he was this. Oh my God, he was horrible and creepy and shit, and his friends were letting him keep their kids, and it was just like, God damn, don't you people look at his Twitter? I mean, it was enraging. I didn't mean to get everybody off on a tangent there, but I wanted to say hi to Chris because I appreciated hanging out with him and made a connection there. And and definitely check out the stuff I've done on the pedos on my channel, guy. You won't regret it. And if you do, tell me what I did wrong. Okay, thanks.
No, that's good work, IRATE. I've done a few postings about some of the ones in Tennessee, Washington, and Oregon that have.
Yeah, and I got to catch up with what's her name and fucking queer kid stuff, and see where they're at and this year. We'll see what this season's focused on. So,
well,
indoctrination shit's maddening.
Part of what got me onto doing this was I found out that there was a pedophile ring in my neighborhood, and I actually, I'm getting it replaced on the 10th of April finally, but I lost one of my front teeth getting into a brawl. I beat the living fuck out of this drug dealer like it was free when I found out he was involved in the ring. They were taking the girls from the youth center in my neighborhood, and they were bringing them over to this house, and they were getting them involved in this prostitution ring.
Oh, man.
And, yeah, it's a whole big thing on Long Island. It's actually involved with a DJing company. There's dirty cops involved. It goes deep. It goes really deep.
Oh, that's disgusting, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. it goes all the way to the local assemblyman. Actually, when I started sniffing around, he retired.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, you know, and that's it's gonna one of these days. It's gonna all the pieces are gonna fall into place, and everybody is gonna be fucking just blown away by the enormity of what is going on in this country and the fact that it's been totally ignored.
Yeah.
So
You know, the thing that amazes me is I can connect these guys to the assemblyman, the local assemblyman here for my district. I can connect it to the local FBI office. My thought is if I can connect the local Democrat assemblyman and the local FBI to the pedophile ring that they have running here in New York, which is, by the way, it's connected to the Bonanno crime family also and the Russian syndicate up over in Brooklyn.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's all connected to Gallagher's 2000, the nightclub. And it's also the same people who are running this are also running, they were running the chimney scam that was going on in Connecticut about 10, 15 years ago when all those old people were getting arrested.
Yeah.
Not arrested, excuse me, when they got arrested for ripping off the old people. Excuse me, I
Yeah.
misspoke.
yeah, the traveler kind of thing, right? Was that it?
They were going into the old people's houses. They said they were a chimney company and they were robbing them blind. It was all over Connecticut.
Yeah.
These are the same guys.
Wow.
I actually know this because I went to kindergarten with one of their brothers.
Oh man.
And I was actually at the house where they had the girls chained up in the basement, the rape house. I was there for a barbecue while they had the girls chained up down there. I asked the owner was a blood. I didn't know it at the time. I asked him, I said, "What's that noise?" He goes, "Oh, I got pit bulls in the basement, puppies." So this guy was having a barbecue while there were little girls chained up in his basement.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, he's currently doing 50 years. You can look up the guy's name. It's Andy Gayot. That's Gayot, Lindenhurst, New York.
Well, I hope somebody in there figures out what he's in for.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I made phone
They
calls.
figured it out.
Good.
My brother, may he rest in peace. He crippled him when I talked to him. He called me up. He's like, "Scoop, how are you?" And I told him what happened. He's like, "Oh, okay." So he calls me up. He's like, "Scoop, I'm not coming home now." I go, "Why?" He's like, "I caught more time." I'm like, "What did you do?" And I'm not going to repeat his language because you'll get demonetized. But basically, this guy's my size. He was my size. He's passed now. But he was my size, but a little bit bigger than me. And this is a guy who did a lot of time inside. And this guy wasn't that big, this Gayot guy. He was small. He was only like 5'4". And he was leaning up against my boy's bars. He was leaning up on his house while he was on the phone. And he tells me, he's like, "Yo, Scooby, I look down, and he's up against my house. And you told me what he looked like, and I'm looking at him. I'm thinking about these little girls, and I'm looking at him. Next thing you know, I got my hand around his chin, and I'm looking at him." So basically, he picked him up by his chin, and he started slamming his head up against the bars till his head got stuck in between the bars.
Oh, shit.
It wound up severing part of the guy's spine, so he has to walk around with a walker. So,
If you're gonna play, you gotta pay, bro. That's what I say.
yeah, I felt bad. You know, he did time. He fucked up his time for that, and then when he got released, all of a sudden he wound up dead. So there's a lot of shit tied to this, and that's why I put up you guys have been in my Discord. You see what the name of it is. The Democratic Party needs to be declared a terrorist organization, because look at this shit. They got this all comes back to that shit that Holder signed in when Obama was president. They're paying money to let these animals go and do whatever they want. Meanwhile, they got little girls chained up in the basement.
Yep.
It's disgusting.
But you should see some of the crap out here, man. I mean, a few years back, they passed a motor voter law, and then they passed a new law that makes it so that you got to show your birth certificate to get a license done. But they made it real public that they were doing that, and so every single illegal re-registered their driver's license while the motor voter law was in effect. And so now we've got probably 1 million illegals in the state registered to vote.
Yep.
I mean, they've done all sorts of shady stuff, man, and it doesn't surprise me that they're involved with the crime families as well.
Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. There is not one organized crime member in the tri-state area, to my knowledge, that is registered as a Republican. I could pretty much say that for a fact. They're almost always, if they're not Jewish, they're almost always Catholic. Lately, there's been an influx of Muslims, but we're talking organized crime. They're almost always Catholic. You look at them, you got the Sicilian Mafia, you got the Italian Casa Nostra, you got the Irish Westies. They're all Catholic. Every one of those organizations.
Right.
All the unions.
Right. The unions are, yeah, they're tied into the Democratic Party really deeply. Yeah.
My father was 282. Believe me. International Brotherhood of Teamsters.
That's right.
Well, and even the Russians are Russian Orthodox, man.
Yeah, but my thing is, if you look, when Trump did that thing where he ripped Hillary Clinton apart when they were supposed to be having a roast, those were all Catholics. That was a Catholic roast. The Catholics are entwined in the Democratic Party. I hear all these nationalists, they always scream at me. They're screaming about Israel. I'm like, you should be screaming about Vatican City, guys. Yeah. That's where the muscle is to the Democratic Party in this country. Look at it this way. Think about it this way. All right. Look at the waves of immigrants that the Democrats have utilized. All right. The first wave that came in that they utilized was all of the Irish.
Irish, yeah.
Then they utilized all the Italians.
The Italians, right.
Then you had the world wars. That's when you had first you had the influx of the Western Europeans. Then you had the influx of Eastern Europeans.
And Jews. They're all intermixed during the Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm saying if you look at like Czechoslovakia, Czechoslovakia's all Catholics.
Right.
You had all of them coming in here. You had the Russians who are not Russian Orthodox. Yeah, and you had the Poles. The Poles are all Catholics. I'm saying, and then when they dried up, the next wave that they brought in were all of the people from South America. What are they all? They're all Catholic.
Catholic, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying to you, if you look at every voter block that the Democratic Party has utilized, it's Catholic. Always.
That's interesting.
Always Catholic. If it's not black, and if it's not black or Jewish, it's always Catholic. The majority of their voter base that they take from usually is Catholic peasantry. Always. My entire family is Catholic. And my entire family, up until this last election, my nuclear family, like my siblings and shit, we're all, they all voted for Trump, but they're all registered as Democrats. I can guarantee it. If I looked at any of my siblings, they're probably all registered. Well, my one sister is nuts, but the rest of them are all probably registered Democrat. So it's just a fact. I grew up around people who were involved in organized crime. I say that freely because I've been fucking investigated already. They know I'm not connected to anything. They just have to look into me because of who the fuck I am.
Right.
But I can honestly say, after growing up like that, they're all Catholic and they're all Democrats. Not one of them is a registered Republican. There is not one organized crime member or organized crime person in New York who is a Republican. They're all Democrats. Think about that.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I have a problem. Yeah.
Sure, I got you.
Well, to kind of change the subject here a bit.
A little rhythm change.
Little rhythm.
Sorry,
change,
you put me and Vetram Mountainman in together, and all he has to do, he has the right words to put me on a tangent. All he has to do
that's why we do this thing.
Seriously, he's the right questions.
Right.
Hey, Scoob, that just means I'm asking the tough ones. If I'm asking the right ones, I'm asking the tough ones.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Scoob,
I like him.
Scoob, you're the oil, and he is the match. And we like to get
exactly. I like that.
It promotes that healthy discussion that we're always after.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I have this story here. It's not a Florida man story, but Shaquille O'Neal. Okay. Released birthday balloons with $500 tied to the ends over Atlanta.
Really?
He said, quote, somebody's going to be very happy. Okay. It's Shaq's birthday, but someone else is going to get an awesome gift. The NBA great turned 46-year-old Tuesday and was at Atlantic Station giving away free Oreo chocolate candy bars in honor of National Oreo Day. He and the chocolate treat share a birthday. Later on in the day, though, Shaq decided he would celebrate the day by making somebody else's day. It's my birthday, and I'm going to do something special for somebody, he said in an Instagram video posted to his profile. He explained that he had tied $500 to the...
Hey, were you saying something?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying to check the Discord general.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Did you draw that, or was it? See, when I pushed it, it didn't take me anywhere. The second
you
one.
gotta go to you gotta go to Google, like the actual website Google, and then click the big Google icon, and then click the one that I circled.
Okay, cool. All right, I will. All right.
Basically, it's Google supporting being a trans person lying to get to entrap a guy.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yep.
wow. That's fucked up. Cool. Interesting. All right. Will you do me a favor? Will you explain to Bubonic that this isn't really like a shit show kind of thing, and tell him that the last time he popped in for a little bit, if he wants me to, if he's got something he really has to talk about, I can ask the people, and just type what's going on in the general. Will you do that for me? And I'm going to tell them about this, okay? All right? Thanks. I'm going to go back up in the live studio. Thank you.
Today, Shaq has earned a special place in Atlanta's hearts for all the joy he's spread to the city. Well, Shaq, I don't know what your doctorate was in, but I'll tell you this: there are such things as wind patterns. Yeah. I would love to think that these balloons actually ended up in the hands of some needy family, but I would say most likely they blew well out of the city, and they're somewhere in the middle of the woods or in a landfill or in a tree that's in some remote part of Georgia that nobody ever goes to. And
well, Six, there's plenty of guys like me roaming all over Georgia, so they'll eventually find them.
Okay.
Unless they ended up in the landfill, then it's probably eaten by some gulls.
Yeah. So it's well-meaning, but it's not exactly the most well thought out plan.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I just BTK just brought this to my attention, and this is something I think we all need to maybe check out for a second. And if you're in the audience, you can play along for fun. Okay. If you can't pull up just put it up on Google search. All right, just the old Google search page.
Yeah.
All right, and you see the logo where it has the little the purple triangle. Mash the triangle. All right, and then you see the little boxes open up. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now click on the one where it's the person sitting down holding the book with the glasses. All right. It says "Love" by Laerte. All right. And now press the. All right. So we see. All right. Is everybody doing it?
I'm on my way to it.
Okay. All right. When everybody's on it, just let me know.
Okay.
Right?
We press the purple triangle.
Right. And it opens up, and you'll see those little look like snapshot pictures.
Yeah.
All right. You see the one where that's the person sitting down with the glasses on. And the kind of long nose with the reddish hair, I guess, red hair.
Me?
Yeah.
What?
What?
Okay.
Yeah. Press on that one.
Yeah. All right. And now press the
Love by Laerte.
Love by Laerte. Exactly. Is everybody finding that?
Yep.
Okay. And just and it's just agenda shit, right? All right. So you see a guy talking to the female reading the book, right? And they start walking, and they're holding hands. There's a heart between them. It looks like they're going to a motel to me. I don't know. It's like or they're at the movie. Okay, so they go to the movie theater, and while the one in the dress is paying for their ticket, and ID card falls out, and this guy sees that it's a male, and he starts saying, "I didn't know you were a fucking man. What the fuck?" And then the person looks hurt, and then blows the whistle and says, opens up their shirt, and there's a heart there, right? And then the other dude opens up his shirt. He's got a heart too. And before you know it, the trap and the man walk hand in hand into the sunset.
Yeah.
See,
Traps make it better.
Yeah, but every time now it's like I remember one time they had these like turntables and shit, and I played with that. But every time they've got that kind of picture, there's some kind of shit going on with it, and I'm kind of glad BTK Bass Trap, our own Bass Trap, Kayla, brought that to my attention once again. Our silent helper in the room. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, but
yeah, this is a storybook fairy tale as told by Riley J. Dennis.
Exactly. Laerte.
Nice find.
So does that mean that guy's Irv?
I'm not sure, man. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so. Yeah, all right. So, Cass, you made it. Good. Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, and you?
Good. How's Bernie?
Oh, I'm still plotting my plot for socialism.
You're hanging out on too many bread lines there.
I think we need to get Bernie a Jello.
Oh, fuck.
So a quick NHL break here.
I'll be right back.
The Arizona Coyotes and Vancouver Canucks are in the second period. 12:25 left to go. They are currently knotted at 1 apiece.
Nice.
For those of you that weren't part of the early part of the broadcast, the Pittsburgh Penguins have defeated the Philadelphia Flyers 5-2, and the Calgary Flames have defeated the Buffalo Sabres 5-1. We will check in on this Arizona Vancouver tilt later on in the show. But as it is, that's what's going on, and that's where it is right now. This was the NHL break brought to you by The Next 6 Minutes. Interesting. Oh, we have an update. Does everybody remember that guy in the UK that the cops nabbed him, and he had stuffed either stuffed some drugs somewhere, or he swallowed some drugs. At any rate, he went on a no poo.
Oh yeah.
A no poo fast, or whatever you would call it, a no poo strike. Let's see. We have an update on his situation. Suspected Harlow drug dealer lasted 47 days without pooing, and now has now been released. He has been taken to hospital for medical care. Yes, a suspected drug dealer who was detained in custody for 47 days without pooing has been released from custody and taken to hospital for treatment. Lamar Chambers, 24, of Villa Road, Brixton, London, was arrested on Wednesday, January 17th, after the car he was stopped in in Parsonage Lays. Harlow appeared before a court a day later after police suspected he had swallowed drugs. At that hearing and in several other hearings, the court authorized the detention of Mr. Chambers to enable him to pass the drugs police thought were inside him. But after 47 days in custody, Mr. Chambers had still not emptied his bowels. Essex police confirmed that during his time in custody, he was routinely supplied with food and water and received medical visits every day. Mr. Chambers had been charged with possession with intent to supply Class A drugs and driving matters, but the charges have now been dropped by the Crown Prosecution Service.
That's a determined criminal.
Yeah. He was subsequently rearrested on suspicion of being concerned in the supply of a Class A drug and was released on bail. Since his release from
let's see here.
Hey, Bubonic.
Oh, hey,
Yo, what's up?
Hey, man.
IRATE, wait. IRATE,
Right, yeah.
what you're saying now is being broadcast on your live stream.
Oh, it is?
Because it's coming from your
I heard you telling him what you told him about, hey, this shit. I was honestly just hiding out down here while I was like playing this tank game and listening to your show. And I forgot I was even I thought I was just listening to, I forgot I was even in Discord. And I hear you pop in and mention my name. I'm like, what? What'd I do? I'm just trying to hide down here. No, you're good. Yeah. Yeah, this is going live. All right. Later. Yeah, that's funny.
On the basis of subsequent charging decisions and court proceedings. Essex Police Operation Raptor teams spend every day proactively hunting those involved in supply and sale of drugs on our streets. It is a crime that we are not prepared to tolerate in this country, and we will go to every length to capture and prosecute those responsible. We will not shy away from talking about the unpleasant truths that go hand in hand with the drug dealing lifestyle, from the violence often perpetrated by those involved to the expectation on dealers to plug drugs to avoid capture. I mentioned plug means to either insert inside the body in one direction or ingest in the other. I'm just going off context clues there.
Well, we don't have our resident expert in criminal behavior. He seems to be muted at the moment, but I think you're probably right there, Six.
Yeah.
You referring to me?
Yes, I was, Scoop.
It seems that the way that this is all working is I ducked out and talked to a couple people in a different room in my Discord, and that got sent out, and I apologize. So some of that, what y'all just did not go out, and what I was doing did. So I was trying. Yeah. So I totally apologize to everybody. So yes, professionalism at its best. Once again, at the forefront, IRATE Prostate shows how awesome he is. Okay. So
okay, for those of you that didn't hear all, the moral of the story is that didn't really no moral of the story. It's just this fucked up situation where you have this guy in England who refused to take a dump for almost 50 days.
Yes, the poop watch.
Yeah, the poop watch. He's
you know how they would have convinced him to take a shit? Brought him a Nintendo Switch.
A what?
Nintendo Switch.
Hmm.
You don't get the meme.
That's gamer talk.
It's a soy boy meme.
Is that? Oh, I see.
I got it. Soy boy, say no more. All right. Well, what's next, guys and ladies? Sorry about all that. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Let's see.
Let's talk about tipping your servers.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. So I debate on Facebook on occasion. I used to do it a lot, but it's not like that anymore. I did it real big mostly when the same-sex marriage was going on. Well, there's this post that a friend of mine sent out, and it ended up on my newsfeed about whether or not you should tip your servers. And there's this one guy that seems to think that if you're a server and you're asking to be, you want a tip, then you're begging, that you don't have a real job. And this is a man that says he has served. His Facebook profile says that he is in Brooklyn, New York. And he says that, if there's a gratuity tax, that you can request for it to be removed. And I'm like, not here in Florida. In Florida, there are signs posted stating that, if you're in a party of 10 or more, you're going to be paying this gratuity tax.
Right.
And he says, I've always had it removed. I'm thinking, well, then you weren't in a fucking party of 10 or more, because you will pay it. As long as there are signs posted, you are going to pay it. That's the law of it. And it just drives me insane, because he obviously has never served as a server or delivery driver, because he seems to think that it's begging, it's asking for a handout, or it's not a real job. Dude, I guarantee you, it was just as hard for me to walk around, be on my feet all day, serving people that don't fucking respect what you're doing, as it was for you to be stomping the ground in fucking Iraq.
Yeah, that's apples and
the
oranges.
Same hours.
Well,
at least you weren't getting shot at.
I'm talking about being on your feet all day.
A military lifestyle is vastly different than that. And all the time's a lot more mentally straining than that.
Now, Tara, I will agree with you. Tipping your servers is important. And I will be honest with you, I usually tip between 15 and 40%, and I tip cash only.
Fantastic.
And the reason I tip cash only is because, especially here in Oregon, we have a state income tax, and they tax gratuities.
Oh my God.
Florida doesn't have that level.
Yeah, so I always tip cash so that there's no record of the person getting a tip, and that way they don't have to claim it.
Well, the way things work in overseas, and particularly Japan, where it's actually considered rude to tip, whatever one could expect making during that that shift or doing that job is included in the paycheck. Whereas in the U.S., things work a little differently. There's not that as far as what's in the paycheck, and there's so that it's more important for servers in food service and some degree retail, but mostly in food service. It's more important for them to get that tip, because that extra little bit is not necessarily included in the paycheck.
No, it's not. The servers here only get paid like $2.50 an hour.
Jesus
and that's because
Christ.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and when I was in Tennessee, I was a server at 16 for a Waffle House, and I was only getting paid then like $2 something an hour, and everything else was built up in my tips. And then a couple years ago, I was a delivery driver, and I had a lot of people not tip me, but I also had some people, especially college students, that tip me really, really well. And obviously he has never been in the food industry, because it is hellish to have to deal with. I only had to deal with 5 tables, places like Red Lobster, stuff like that, really big places, they have a lot more tables to deal with.
Here's what he may not understand: is if you actually did demand for higher wages, that's gonna have to come from somewhere, and that usually means the food becoming more expensive,
which in turn causes fewer people to eat there.
Right. Yeah. So you're becoming a deterrent for actual customers to come eat there with higher prices on food because you demanded higher wages and so on and so forth. That's why McDonald's is replacing workers with robots in many places.
Oh yeah, especially up in Seattle where they have to do $15 an hour.
Yeah, they already replaced them.
The order machines here, and I only use those machines when the main line is packed with people because they don't want to use the machines.
Well, Seattle pushed a $15 an hour minimum wage within the Seattle city limits, and so every fast food joint up there has gone to no human lines whatsoever.
Oh damn!
Wow. I'll do it to it.
Burnside, you're going to have to do something about your sound level because I can't hear you at all. That is Burnside we're talking about. Yeah, that is Burnside, dude. It sounds like.
That's because since I'm at work, the one problem I have is the Wi-Fi. I don't know what the hell is, but whenever I'm in Discord trying to do calls and stuff, the Wi-Fi doesn't work, so I have to use my regular network signal, and that's at about half.
Oh man!
Well, that's what happens when you try to run your internet network through a line of loaves of bread.
Yeah, gotta love that fucking round pie, man. It works so fucking terribly, man. Oh, so fucking terribly. Socialized internet. Yeah, great idea, Ramen Manual.
Well, I'm just glad we got rid of the socialized internet in Portland because it was crap too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Clear outcompeted it and shut it down.
Wow. Well, we actually we have our internet out here is all completely privatized. It's all through Optimum, and the beauty of it is it's if you're an Optimum customer, which you have to be to get anything around here, you have access to it. It's all included in your regular Optimum bill, which usually starts at about $500 or $600 a month for basic cable.
Oh shit!
Basic fucking cable that expensive? Oh, the hell with that!
It is New York City.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, you have to pay. It's $100 for the phone. It's $100 for the internet, and it's $100 for cable. It's the Optimum Triple Play. But then you got to pay the state, and then you have to pay federal on top of that. So when all the taxes and fees are done, usually every month it's for the basic. I think it's $4 and change, and then with the taxes and fees, you're looking at about $6 and change. So yeah. Somewhere between 4 and 6, depending which zone you're in.
Oh man, that's horrible.
Yeah, I have to look. I may be off a little bit, but that's just for basic. You want the full cable package? Yeah, you want the. Yeah, I think actually that's what it is. I dropped it down. It was running me 6 and change. I think that's just for like the Discovery Channel and everything. Now I pay, I think, about a little bit around $400 now, if I recall, and all I have are the networks.
The fuck? Paying that much, I better expect some premium shit.
No, all I have are networks.
Lord.
I
would expect some free pizza.
Man, alright.
Yes, Scoob, I have serious broadband internet and digital phone service, and I pay $100 a month, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I get really raked across the coals over here. But that's the thing is, it's not my. I don't have control over the say on that bill. I kind of get outvoted. So
yeah,
whatever. It is what it is.
You know, you really should tip your servers because they're busting their ass to make you happy.
Just please don't compare them to the military next time.
Well, the thing is, we're our economic system, and certainly our food service industry, is not structured the way it is in Asia, where they can actually pay these people enough where they would be kind of offended at somebody giving them the tip because they know that they've already earned a tip through their own paycheck, essentially, and that it doesn't work that way in the United States because it's structured very differently. And a lot of these countries certainly don't have the population. So it's, yeah.
Well, next, I mean, back when I was in Europe, specifically in Germany, if you tipped too high, they actually got pretty offended as well. I actually got cussed out one time because I gave a woman a 10 mark tip.
Whoa.
On a 25 mark bill. And she got mad at me about it. She actually cussed me out. And I didn't realize it until I talked to some of my friends.
Making out with you.
Well, 10 marks was like $5, Tara. It wasn't that much. But
I didn't hear what she said.
Yeah, she was roboting.
I said I'd be making out with you.
But yeah, she got mad and she cussed me out. And it wasn't until later when I talked with some of my German friends that they explained the way they tip there, which is basically you round it off to a couple of marks and you leave it be at that.
Yeah, different cultures have different systems, and unfortunately, the culture has worked out in the United States that servers don't get paid very much, and that has a large. It's largely because of just how things economically are structured here. That if they do ask for more money, then the food's going to get more expensive, and it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder on the business itself. So
they should worry
robots.
about lowering the cost of living around here instead of raising the minimum wage.
That would be a good thing to do.
That's
Scoot.
a good idea. Yeah.
But to do that, a lot of times you got to start encouraging more competition.
Yeah. I don't know. I was raised when I was a kid. That was one of the things that you wanted to encourage was market competition.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I remember, like, our generation, I remember specifically, like, back in the 90s, you had all these people starting up all the different clothing companies. You had all these people starting up all these different startup businesses, different shoe companies. Everyone was trying to start their own business. Everyone was competing with each other. And I remember...
the spirit of the 80s was living on in the 90s through that stuff like that.
Well, I remember one of the things that happened was when all these different shoe companies came out and all these different jean companies came out, one of the things that happened was the price of Levi's went down, the price of Nikes went down. Once the market became more competitive.
Yeah, and that's something the Democrats don't seem to understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, me personally, I would love for us to have a more competitive market. That, to me, is the American way.
Competition breeds innovation and lowers prices on most things across the board. That's usually what ends up happening.
But see, the big trick to encouraging competition is you got to start lowering the regulations because it's the barriers to entry that stop competition.
Yeah. I had talked to a few of these socialists at one point, and I was talking to them, and they said to me, they were trying to explain to me about how their view on socialism was. And I said to them, well, why does the government have to do everything? And they said to get it at the cheapest available. I said to them, well, from my experience, if the government sets a standard minimum, it always gets surpassed.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's not to me the benchmark for socialism. I said, if anything, if you really, I said, if it makes your heart's desire that you have to have the government be involved, fine. You can put the government in there and let them compete in the open competitive market with the private sector and see how well the government does. And that's when they backpedal because, well, no. Well, what do you mean, no? I mean, it's the government, right? They should be able to compete well in the private market, in the private sector, can't they?
Right.
And, yeah, but no. Then they start to come out, well, that they have advantages in the private sector, the government doesn't. The government prints the money. How the fuck does the private sector have more of an advantage? You know?
Right.
Bingo,
They have in
Yahtzee.
mind that they want the government to be the control grid.
Right, and therein lies the rub.
market.
You got to box them into saying it. That's the trick. You got to get them to say it out loud, because when they say it out loud, sometimes it's the first time they're admitting it to themselves.
Yeah.
Agreed. Did you see my video earlier today, Scoob, about personal ownership versus collectivism?
No, I'll actually look at it now. I haven't actually been inside all day. Come on, Patches, go out.
And Scooby, I'll tell you,
Mm-hmm.
you are more right than you think, because from my journey from proto SJW to where I am now, there were a lot of milestones. There were a lot of forks in the roads. There was a lot of different things that happened, and certainly having a conversation just like that was one of the stepping stones for me to emerge from ignorance to I wouldn't exactly say enlightenment, but not ignorance. So yeah, that's certainly an important thing that you need to do for some of these very misguided socialists and Marxists and so on and so forth.
You know, the sad thing is, a lot of these kids, when you talk to them, like the one I talked to the other day, is convinced, because he's only 22, this kid, so his whole experience with capitalism has been under Bush and Obama. So you can understand why these kids are becoming communists. If that's the only... See, I lucked out. I grew up during the Reagan era.
Same here.
And,
Same here.
And I had older siblings who were already in the private market. My sister retired at 26. Think about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
She got into real estate working for the Trump organization.
Oh, wow.
That's what my sister did, and she retired at 26 years old.
Amazing.
That's the beauty of this country. This girl, second generation American. You know, the grandparents immigrated here during World War II, and she was able to retire before she was 30.
Amazing.
And she didn't even finish high school. This country offers opportunity to those who are able to seize it, but it's not just, you know, it comes down to will, desire. There's a lot of elements to the equation, but you can do it. And
Oh yeah, Scoob. You grab it by the ears, smash its forehead in, and then kick it on the ground while it's down until it gives up.
Yeah. And these kids, they don't see it that way. They see it as the system's rigged against them, so they have to tear down the system. And
that's like
small ways, depending on the state, it is rigged against them.
That's because of the politicians and the ones who are running the system. The way the system is worked is the system works for us, but a lot of people don't take the initiative. You have to go to the town hall meetings. You got to go there and you got to sign the book and you got to complain and you got to bring people with you.
Yep.
That's how it works. Got to get involved. The mayor in my neighborhood is unfortunate for him. The mayor in my neighborhood lives on my corner. This poor man, he has gone gray since he's gotten into the office because he sees me daily.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've started going to the town hall meetings for my politicians, but more to observe than anything else. And all the ones I've gone to have been parties of clapping seals.
Clapping seals.
They're just sitting there clapping at whatever the Democrats saying, holding up signs. I agree. There's like 60 of them in the room, and the room's designed for 400 or 500 people.
Well, that's what you call preaching to the choir.
You know, it's
you need to bring with you Not just a small number, not a handful, but throngs of counter voices.
I've got 5 or 6 guys on Twitter that are in the area. A few more, and if I can get about 20 or 30 of us in there, I think we can make a real show of it.
Make it even 40. Make it even 40, just to be safe.
I think if we come in as 40, I think we might scare the piss out of the SJWs, though, man.
Well,
Your point being?
Well, I look a bit intimidating.
We'll throw a couple of tie-dye T-shirts on them and so on and so forth, and
go incognito.
Yeah, go incognito.
I'd have to shave my beard to go incognito, unless I did the Willie Nelson.
Well, here's what you do: you need to style your as close as possible to like a hipster beard, and get you some suspenders and one of those. They're not fedoras. People keep calling them. They're trilbies. They're not fedoras. They're trilby hats.
See, man, I won't wear anything without a brim to keep the sun out of my eyes. I have a rider. I don't wear no trilby.
Excuse me.
Well,
there's a request from the chat. Says, all right, asked me to tell this to Scooby. It says, can't be done, Scoob. The government by law cannot make a profit on any project. Also, the government is exempt from all but payroll taxes.
He's not wrong on that.
So this is just, I'm just repeating what he asked me to repeat. So
now don't quote me on this, because this was something that I used to discuss with my conspiracy friend that didn't believe that we went to the moon.
One of those.
There was an interesting conversation that he and I had some 20 years back. So if I butcher this really badly, I'm working off of 20-year-old memories here. There was an interesting thing that he brought up once, and it was something to do with the Commerce Act of 1871, which what he believed is that there was a separate constitution established, wherein the wording of the Constitution, there was the hell was it? It was a changing like of to for. No, for to of. And it established sort of this facade, this corporate facade where if not the entire government, then part of the government became corporatized.
Okay.
I
know that you're mentioning. I think that's known as like the Red Shield or the Robber Baron conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes, it has
more or less. If I think where you're going with it, but finish up so I don't go on the wrong track. Though.
Yeah, it has something to do with the Commerce Act of 70, and like I said, I really only paid half of the attention to this conversation because it sounded nuts to me, but I don't know if there's anything to it. But that's if there was any sort of basis for the idea that the government could make money, then that's probably the nail that sticks up in my mind as far as in the possible way it could happen.
Well, here's the problem with that whole theory. Is that we've got copies of the Constitution from before that supposedly happened, and you can compare the two.
Yeah. I have to bring up something since Scoob also mentioned about someone he knows getting to 26 in retirement.
My sister, my older sister, bro.
Yeah. Well, see, she's lucky in your area because for us in California, the whole situation is really bad for us. And one of the reasons why we seem to have this push for, especially for young kids in California, is because they're aware that if they ever, here in California, you'll be lucky if you ever get a chance to save enough to retire at all.
Yeah.
Here, criminals, kingpins, hell, mercenaries have a greater chance of retirement than any millennial here in California at all. So that's kind of how bad the situation is here when it comes to the whole, I guess, economy, as it were.
No, my sister retired 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Nearly 30, 29 years ago now. 1989 was when she retired. The market was really good. Inflation hadn't hit as hard yet. And it's not like she just took the money and sat on her ass. She actually invested into my brother-in-law's business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the carpet and floor covering that she did. And the thing of it was, she retired working for Trump's organization. And so that's the reason that she was able to get the in for him. And my brother-in-law wound up doing the floor and the walls and all that shit in Trump Tower. He has, I don't know if his account, if he still has an account with the Trump organization, but I know he did the Taj Mahal, and I know he did all his casinos. And the reason was because when I was a kid, they gave me one year for Christmas a copy of The Art of the Deal, first edition, and a copy of the Trump board game that went with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I still have that board game.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, Cass, it's not just
pretty neat,
California that's in that situation. Oregon and Washington are too. But that's also because I've been catching some of them fornicators down there funding our politicians.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice there seems to be a correlation with left-leaning run cities and the level of corruption and the screwing over.
Chicago's trying to be something like that. There's literally all-reaching tendrils that connect all these cities.
May not be completely the case, but it definitely seems that way.
System with all these people. You know, that's why all these politicians who keep getting elected, what have you, they have all this money coming in through all the lobbying firms and what have you, and all of these, you know, campaign contribution corporations and et cetera that they have. That's why George Soros has a butt ton of money, is because, you know, it's underhanded deals. That's how these people make so many things happen, is because the bureaucracies force the actual people that write up the laws and, you know, any governing body in particular to go and cater to them by bribery.
But what I was getting at, Kaz, is I was looking at Senator Wyden and Governor Brown's campaign finances here recently. And all of them have received money from the University of California, Berkeley, University of California, Santa Cruz, the California Longshoremen, whole list of California organizations.
Well, there's organized crime that wears a dubious face, and there's organized crime that wears a somewhat legitimate face, but it's all organized crime.
It really is.
It's a racket. Well, lobbying, I've said it for years, lobbying should be illegal.
Scoob, I say we got to go back to my
Hell yeah,
idea
by all means
talking
legalize
about
lobbying, man. Fucking arrest the assholes.
I'm just not surprised to hear Californian institutions have something to do with that. Not in the slightest.
Well, you know, my deal is that, you know, it's like if there was just somebody that could just represent us. Oh, that's their job.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
it just dawned on me. Oh, fuck. So they're getting paid by us to do our bidding, but no, we're getting an end around done on us by these, you know, these people that have a shitload of money. These special interests.
Yeah, we're told to bend over, grab our bootstraps, and smile while they do it.
That's right. No lube, man. Nothing.
Smiles, you get the pumping in the rear.
Quite literally.
That's a good fox boy.
Fucking burns
That
my
was
blood.
pretty good, Herbert, man.
You know, the sad thing is, fucking California is now 50th in the nation.
Yep.
And the sad thing is, a lot of it can be traced back to, it started when Nancy Pelosi did that shit where she took away all the water for the irrigation because it was interfering with the migration routes of the piping clovers, that crazy bitch.
Yep.
Did that. You know, it killed the irrigation. So what did we do? We started importing all this disgusting food from south of the border that is nowhere near as good.
Yep.
they completely destroyed that part of their economy. There is no reason California should be where it is in the nation. It's ridiculous.
That's what happens when your state's infested by just complete and total leftists.
Well, Cas,
Or like this.
My socialism.
I've looked at the voting maps there. You know, if you look at majority square footage, most of California is actually pretty right-leaning. It's just the population centers that are leftist.
Well, yeah, see, the problem is for years, ever since the whole gay marriage thing, and the conservatives thought it was a good idea to die on a hill for that fight, the conservatives have been pretty much, well, what was disorganized? I think the word is. So, you know, a lot of leftists tend to pretend that they have the power in California when they actually don't. It's just conservatives can't really do anything because right now no one's organizing. There's a lot of social bullshit that comes into it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do it right now.
That was
but
really
I think
well
that
put.
is changing.
Yeah, man, no shit. I like that. I like what you. I smell what you were stepping in, son.
Yeah, the problem is all of these major cities across the U.S. they're blue lines, you know, or they're blue centers. You know, it's where the Democrats and their fucking cronies rule with an iron fist. That's why we've got all these massive cities with all this bullshit, and it pretty much trickles down to the rest of the state.
Trickle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, you know, my city and state are notorious for anyone for office, you know, criminals going to wind up in Cook County or somewhere, you know, like because oh yeah, you got caught doing something stupid, you fucking idiot. Why don't you cover? This city thought it was a good idea to sell Obama's Senate seat, and he, you know, just for whatever reason, just said he just basically the equivalent of a neon sign Craigslist saying IR selling Obama's seat to the highest bidder.
Yeah, I remember when he got snagged for that.
Yeah, and
isn't he doing like hard time for that now, like heavy time? If I recall, didn't they hit him with like 10 years? He's doing 10. That's a good one. That's a decent bid.
Doing a dime.
Yeah. Burnside, I can't hear you. You're really robot.
Ultron's got you.
Yeah.
Ah, crap. How about now? Is that any better?
Much
better. That's much.
Okay. Yeah, that's the problem.
What is that? What in the fuck is that?
Servant for the state, then that's a common thing. You know, our senators literally make our license plates. That's the joke we have.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if you're a senator, or if you're a congressman, if you're any form of public representative, oh yeah, you'll do a few terms, but then you'll be making license plates because you're a fucking moron.
You know, it's interesting. If you look up a war hero, his name, God, I can't remember the guy's first name. It's something Cunningham, and he was the first naval he was the only naval ace of the Vietnam War. Right, he and his partner, they flew a F-4 Phantom, right? So it's a two-seater, and he became a congressman, and he ended up going to prison, man. A fucking war hero, and it's that city, man. It's the machine. It takes good people, and it turns them into these money-grubbing, fucking self-centered, narcissistic pieces of shit. You know, and of course, then there's the ones that are like that before they go in. You know, and so it's like, oh my God, finally I'm home. After the election, you know, it's like, geez, man. I don't know, man. I was a big fan of Cunningham until I found that shit out about him and stuff.
You know, his first name was
what?
No, I think his first name was Alfred.
No. I'll tell you their names.
You know the thing the thing I've been saying for a while now with these politicians is if you elect somebody and they not only don't do what you elected them to do, but they do the opposite while they're in office, Why aren't we charging them with fraud? To me, that they should be charged with capital fraud. You ran on a platform, you defrauded the public, you should be held accountable.
Hey, Scoob, I was telling you yesterday, you know, we need to implement the Spartan system. You know, vote for me and we'll start putting it forward because every politician tried for treason.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, Mountain Man. Definitely trying for fucking treason.
Let's get hanging on the tree ready, guys.
Hell yeah. And,
If they had the sort of
have the right people to get you the rope.
His name was Randy Duke Cunningham.
Where's the rope? Oh yeah, we're going to cut. You're going to cut your guts up and use your innards as a rope.
On that.
Nice, Cas.
If every politician had the sword of Damocles hanging just above their heads for their entire careers, knowing that they would be put on trial as soon as they leave office, shit would be different.
Well, if every government employee was fucking merit-based, you know, I mean, God, think about how fucking efficient shit would run. It would be, you know, that's all it needs is, you know, one bad performance review and you're out. You know?
I agree, dude. Yeah, that's the fucking problem we have is there's no meritocracy anymore. Everything's the backdoor fucking deal nowadays. That's what you're
a robot and like severely, dude.
You know, one of the things I've seen though is I've seen sometimes that they do things where they'll cut the nose to spite the face.
Yep.
What I mean by that is like there have been sometimes now I don't exactly approve of nepotism, but oh damn it! Hold on 1 second, guys. It's my guy.
It sounded like some kind of Japanese pop song.
I'm guessing he didn't pick the ringtone.
That's a little bit better, Burnside, but you're still cutting in and out.
The problem is the fucking ROM fight. If the internet could actually hold a connection to where I could run things through Discord, as far as like the voicing and all that.
You know, Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Yes, it is.
Regrettably, there's not much else I can do right now. I don't.
Do you have Discord? Do you have the program on your on whatever device you're using?
Yes, I have it on both. But the problem is, whenever I'm at work, when I try and connect to any form of voice network through the Wi-Fi, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
This is why the city of Chicago should not build their server farms out of loaves of bread.
Well, that you know, here's you know, I've got pretty decent internet, and there was a huge difference after I went from using Wi-Fi to like do the OBS shit to go into a straight line, man, with the Cat 5. And I mean, it's like night and day, man. I'm getting a huge green light. It's beautiful.
Beautiful green light.
Yeah, man, and it's at least 720. You know, and that's the worst signal. So anyway.
So speaking of OBS, IRATE, if you have some time this weekend, kind of help show me the ropes as far as getting that set up.
Oh yeah, sure, man. I mean, it's like you know, I'm basically a retard though when it comes to it. So, but I'll be glad to help you get to at least retard level.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You know, I'd actually like to get with you guys maybe next weekend and talk about setting up a stream for me on Sundays.
So, killer.
Can't this weekend though. I've got something going.
Oh, cryptic.
Yeah, got a pirate party Saturday night.
Arrgh, that's right, Monday. Dude. That's right.
Oh, you definitely if you get the chance, Mountain Man. If you ever do get the chance to come back out to the East Coast, and you come to New York, hit me up. I'll take it. There's a lot of shit out here, like on Long Island, like where I used to work at Gilgo. There's a couple of guys that go every year with a metal detector. They're looking for pirate treasure. I forget which pirate, but somebody supposedly buried a lot of money on that beach.
Oh, yeah, man. Me and my family on occasion would go out to North Carolina and we'd go comb the beaches out there because all the coves, the whaling privateers during the Revolution would dock up in there to hide from the British.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we also have, I'm sorry, Six, I don't mean to step on you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, one of the other things, the same beach, Apparently, a Nazi U-boat landed there in World War II. I know, I'm being dead serious. A Nazi U-boat landed there in World War II. There's an actual thing about this, that they were off the coast.
There were tons of them, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently that they said that shit had got stashed on that beach. Now, my thought is, why the fuck would anyone who knows that the Nazis put gold on the beach leave it there, you know? But these idiots come and dig it up every year.
No, they were. That's how they ran spies in and out, and they are also doing recon for a possible land invasion. If they got like from Britain to Greenland to Iceland or vice versa, right? And that's why, yeah, there was a shitload of U-boats, you know, going up and down the coast. So yeah, that happened for sure.
When I was about 22 or 23, I got me one of the metal detectors. I had great aspirations of like finding hoards of silver dollars or something really cool like that. But I think all I ever really got was chewed up soda cans. Lots of chewed up soda cans.
Well, you know, if the beaches out here in the Oregon coast were actually real sand, I might consider doing some beach combing again. But a lot of it's small rock.
I think I actually found a few nickels or something like that, little bits of copper wire, but for a lot of damn chewed up soda cans. I think people just drop them on the beach and they get run over repeatedly and stuff like that. But I never found anything really interesting.
I find musket balls constantly. Cannonballs, all sorts of shit I find around here. I found a cannonball once when I was a kid. I tripped over the damn thing in Lincoln Woods.
Well, of course, Scoob, you're living on Long Island. 5-6 battles during the Revolution on Long Island?
Oh, yeah, yeah. A lot of the thing, what you'll do is you'll go through the woods and you'll have a metal detector and you'll be going past a tree and all of a sudden you hear the beeping. And what it is, there's musket balls stuck in the tree.
Yeah, they're growing. Yep. Yeah, it's growing into it.
And yeah, it's wild. It's really wild. I was telling Burnside about it. The one I was talking about, Lincoln Woods, right over by me. I live right over, I didn't even realize it. I live right by the George Washington Slept-Here house. My dog, it's actually right over by the dog park. I take the dog there. He's literally, I'm sitting there, he took a crap in front of the sign. I'm cleaning it up, and I look up at the sign, and it's, you know, George Washington slept here. I'm like, oh, no shit. Yeah, you can go into the woods right by my house, and if you find an older tree that's fallen, and you have a metal detector, we've done it before. One guy, he pulled 3 musket balls out of one tree.
Yeah.
If they would allow me, I would go. I'd find my metal detector, and I'd go out to the alley, dig up their flower beds. I'd probably find a lot of spent ammunition there, but they'd probably frown on that because well, that's just the way they are about the Alamo. I think. Wasn't Ozzy Osbourne banned from at least the city of San Antonio for like?
Yeah, he pissed on it.
Pissed on the Alamo. So yeah, he's not allowed in the city.
Oh
I
man!
think they lifted that ban.
Yeah, they did.
Did they finally?
Eventually, yeah. They it was like a couple, 2 or 3 years ago. You know, it was like, you know, it was back during the Reagan days, and they were spurging out over those devil worshiping metalheads and shit. And of course, Ozzy, you know, after eating the bat's head, after eating the dove's head, you know, they were assured he was in Black Sabbath, so he was a devil worshiper.
Well, I tell you what, hey, if Ozzy Osbourne is listening, he's hard up for some ribs. I'd like to invite him to play at Floor's Barbecue out west in Helotes. That's they have a stage set up behind their restaurant, and there's a lot of country bands come through there. Willie Nelson, so on and so forth. And
nice.
So now that the ban is lifted, then he can actually hang around in the area.
City again.
You know, he is the nicest person in person. He really is. He's a sweet man.
Good people.
Very polite. Yeah, he's very polite. He's very well mannered. You can't understand what the fuck he's saying, but you know, he'll actually stop. If you stop and say hi to him, he'll stop and talk to you. I think I told you about that, Six. I ran into him about, I think it was, oh God, it's got to be about 13 years ago with Midtown. I was in there for same, and one of the girls we were with turns around and she has this look on her face. It was just like shock, and I'm like, "What's the matter?" And then I look past her, and it's him and Sharon walking towards us. So I'm at the hot dog stand. So I'm like, "Oh," I'm trying to think what to say to him. Fuck it. Hey, Ozzy, how you doing? You know, happy St. Patty's Day. And he responded, and what I'm guessing, he said, you know, that's thanks. You know, it's nice. It's just bloody New York weather.
Face. Sharon!
Well, I'll
so
tell
we
you
got
what.
an Aussie and we got a Bernie.
If he comes to San Antonio, he doesn't have to say a damn.
Socialism works, guys.
Just sit there and eat ribs.
Yeah, and I've got Keith Richards, you know. For some way, for some for you know, say that, but I think they say that. Or that say, man, it's so yeah, man.
We're gonna need Nick Frost's character from Hot Fuzz to come in and translate that.
Nice.
Y'all do know that Ozzy Osbourne's new doctors got his medications cleared up, and he can actually speak coherently now.
Oh, that would be
good. Yeah, a lot of what his speech impediment was, because he had a lot of these weird
doing
medications.
all the cocaine with all the ants in it and shit when he was my age. True story. He used to do cocaine with ants in it.
Well,
yeah, I remember that. He was on tour with Motley Crue and he got out and he was snorting ants because he was fucking racked out of his head.
They were outgrossing each other. It was a contest. Ozzy won.
Of course, Ozzy won,
as he usually would. I'm sure.
Because he's the bloody fucking Prince of Darkness.
I'm not. I don't care what you say, man. I'm not putting that up my ass, man. You know, I win.
I think that I only watched one episode of the Osbournes, and it was one where Sharon was
show, man.
She was suggesting some kind of stage thing where there'd be a bunch of like soap bubbles.
The bubbles, yeah.
Yeah, he said,
I'm the
Bubbles,
prince.
I'm the bloody Prince of Darkness.
Yes. It was funny as shit. Yeah, because he was wanting to do it like some kind of like twisted Christmas show. And
I remember that one where he hung Santa and all that. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, he shot the bubbles down though, man. He was not about the bubbles.
Sharon got away with
fire
bubbles
instead of bubbles.
Fucking Lawrence Welk bullshit.
I'm the bloody Prince of Darkness.
I am.
Man. Did I ever tell you guys the Black Sabbath story when I was a kid?
No.
What happened?
Oh God, it was we were over at, I think it was one of the massive outdoor malls we have in Illinois, and my mother was with some of our buddies that were kind of like extended family that we knew from the neighborhood. They're out shopping and shit, and our Uncle Morgan, the fucking giant fucking guy that he is, you know, he's one of like the city billies or whatever. You know, he was, you know, taking a shopping and stuff with his family and that. So all hanging around and stuff. And just hear this a block away, dun 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 dun, guys. And he finally tears in, nearly barrels over 4 freaking people who are shopping for T-shirts. He's like, they're having an autograph for Black Sabbath 4 buildings down. And we're like, wait, what? No way. Yeah, they're in town. So we literally spend 3 hours waiting in line at this obscure fucking record store where Black Sabbath is sitting down, autographing people's junk.
So they didn't hook up and play? Because sometimes they were known to do that too, man. You know, just show up and just you know, all the good ones do that shit, man.
I got a funny Black Sabbath story.
Awesome. And the cool part was like 3 or 4 other kids ahead of me got turned down. I just look up at them before even Ozzy can say anything. I just shove this Paranoid album in front of him, and I was like, "Can you please sign my CD, Ozzy?" And he's looking at me. He's like, "All right, sure, kid." And like the whole band like gradually like leans forward and they're like looking at me and they're like, "What the hell? He charmed Ozzy."
Yeah.
Oh, they love the hell out of me. You see this little blonde Swede. He's like, Ozzy, can't you sign my CD, please?
Like a friggin' Oliver Twist with a friggin' Paranoid album.
Six, what was your story, man?
My story was when I was 14 or 15. I was with a Methodist youth group. We were going, where the hell? I don't remember where the hell we were going. We were going someplace. Anyway, somebody had brought a radio, and we were all taking turns playing music. And for the most part, they were playing these like regular top 40 bullshit that you would expect them to be playing. So I just happened to have Black Sabbath tape, and started playing that. I think the drivers were two of our little chaperones, and they tolerated, I think, about maybe a song and a half. I think we got into War Pigs before they turned around and said, "Shut that off."
That's a great.
Well, you know, Six, you're dating yourself there talking about a cassette tape.
Yeah, I know. This was This was just before I started turning towards proto SJW town. So this would have been, damn. How old am I again?
40. I remember you're 40.
I would have been 14. That would have been. Shit. Let me do the math. 91?
Yeah, I was going to say 90, 91, 90.
1990 or 91, one of the two. Anyway. Yeah, I'm going to be 41 in, May? So, yeah. I think 91, yeah.
You're all children.
I'm going to be 39 in April. So, yeah. Getting out there myself.
Oh, good Lord. Do we have 3 Tauruses in the room?
No, I'm an Aries.
Oh, you're an Aries?
Yeah.
The Taurus and Aries tend to get along pretty well.
Aries.
So we're like the friggin' bros of the zodiac.
Awesome.
Well, guys, it's after 9 o'clock on my coast. I know it's getting late on your coast too. So
yeah, I got to call it a night soon myself. I got to get up in a few hours.
Yes, I got to get up in about 5-6 hours because I got a 12-hour shift tomorrow.
Well, y'all ready to do the end of the show spiel and shill your shit?
I gotta shill it.
Sure.
Sure.
Everybody go at once. Now. Of course, ladies first as usual. Tara, please.
I am TerraSynn. You can find me on IMVU, YouTube, and Twitter. You can also find me on my Etsy, which is Terra and Roxy Craft. Buy my shit so I can more Burnside and hang out with everyone else.
Awesome.
Next.
I don't know. Who do you have next?
Okay. Well, all right. From what I'm seeing, Cas WarFox. Go for it.
Fuck. Okay. So I'm Cas WarFox. I do some gaming and political stuff, provided when I actually make them. You can find my channel under the same name and username that I use here, Cas WarFox, and provided you can handle my yiffing personality, subscribe.
Yiffing away.
If not for me,
Do it for the name of socialism.
And you see your sub count immediately drop. He's just kidding, people. We don't condone that kind of shit. Scooby, my friend,
Or
go next.
is he?
I'm Scooby331. You guys can find me on Minds, YouTube, Gab AI, Patreon, and I am back on Twitter as not Scooby331. And I got a couple of videos that are going to be coming up this week. Just a couple of odds and ends I'm going to throw up on here, and I'm going to be doing a live stream possibly if I can get the proper equipment. Otherwise, I'm just going to be filming the St. Patty's Day Parade. And I'm going to be covering on the 24th the March for Safe Spaces. So I'm going to, have coverage for that too. So that's what I got in the works currently.
Sweet. 6, my bro.
Hi, I'm the next 6 minutes. If you want to find my YouTube channel, you must spell out the word 6. If you use the character 6, you're not going to find me. So the next 6 minutes. And I have the next live streams channel. I'm also on Gab AI, Minds.com, Twitter, so on and so forth. Tomorrow I'm going to try to have a special guest. A special guest that we're going to be talking about a certain live stream that we had several months back about an evil breathing pizza, and or I'm going to try to have him on tomorrow night as my special guest. We're commemorating. That was 40 streams ago.
Wow.
That was 40 streams ago, and we're gonna have a commemoration show for that, and it's gonna be really fun. If you want to hear all about the breathing pizza, then tune into my next live streams channel tomorrow. Also, this coming weekend, I'm gonna try to have an international stream. It's probably gonna be starting a little earlier, either noon or 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll see if I can get some international flavor going on there. If I'm unsuccessful in doing that, then probably expect my tea time stream to be around 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern. But that's what's going on. Also, my collaboration video, I'm going to be starting throwing out invitations to be part of that starting tomorrow. I'm also going to be announcing that as well in my live stream with the breathing pizza guy. And we're going to be talking about that. So I guess that's about all I got.
Cool. All right. It'll be next will be the Vetram Mountainman.
Hello, everybody. I'm the Vetram Mountainman. You can catch me on Minds, Twitter, Gab. I'm also on YouTube. I do pretty much daily content except for Fridays, which are no YouTube Fridays, and Sundays, which I'm actually looking at changing. And in spirit of my video from today, if you don't own yourself, you're a slave.
Oh, I like that. I like that. And Burnside?
I think he might be doing.
All right, let me know.
Okay, well, while he's...
No, I waited a little bit.
You all right?
You all right?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Go for it now.
All right, cool, because I was trying to get that to work. All right. I am the Burnside Film Project. You can find me on YouTube, Gab AI, BitChute. I'm on Twitter as Burnside_bums, and I got some more fun stuff planned. We're going to be trying to get some filming done now that the weather is not trying to kill us. And if you're a fan of more of the crazy extreme things, I've got a funny little video I've got planned out with the Rebels. It's a work in progress right now, but it's going to be something to trigger the holy hell out of anybody that is just an asshole.
Sounds fun. And I am IRATE Prostate, and tomorrow afternoon, hopefully after Kumite, Big Fat Brian and I will look at the Netflix series called Altered Carbon. Fantastic sci-fi. And I recommend hanging out with us. If we have time and availability, we will be taking, quote, phone calls through the Discord, like what we're doing tonight. Let's see. I want to say, oh yeah, Friday night, of course, the Cream Stream. We will be with Red Pulsar and Miles Beats as guests, plus other nameless people who will show up, and a couple of named people who also will show up. Then Saturday, I hang out and have drinks with friends with my friend Sir Adamantine, and of course C120 with Weebo later and that night. And then on Sundays, I don't know. You never know what's going to happen. I recommend watching Barbarian because I occasionally pop up on his call-in portion of his show as shit-faced Alex Jones, or as just hungover Alex Jones, depending on yes.
Hungover Alex Jones. Oh my God, I gotta hear this.
I didn't understand it, but hey, and music, if you can hear it, has been brought to you by the YouTube freebie selection. So we will not get any content strikes or anything for this because YouTube provided this music for me. And if I do get a content strike, it's their fucking fault. All right?
Yeah.
All right. So along with the rest of the Chaos 120 crew, this is IRATE Prostate. We're going to say later for now, keep spanking the hatriarchy as any way you can, and we'll see you the next time. Later, dudes.
Good night, chat.
Take it